folks. All right. Let me fix this here. Messaging system. All right, and we're off. So, before we get into the three little piggies that did dumb, we're going to talk about something that I actually just watched a video on like 5 seconds ago before I left the house. I believe Dan Clancy is being, he's being forced to go to Congress and testify why he's allowing some people to threaten violence on certain people. He has to come and testify in front of Congress. I know that, same as you guys, he's talking about Hassan. It's pretty clear. Destiny caught a ban on Twitch, so I have to assume Hassan is probably next, especially since Elon went on Twitter and tagged what's his nuts, Jeff Bezos, so that's probably going to be a problem. All right. Oh, let's see. There's 6 people here. You guys get to decide the fate of this live stream. Who is going to be the person that we talk about first? Chris Ryder, Jeremiah Payne, or George Metz? Chat, let me know who you want me to talk about first. I was going to say knockout, but I think Chris would cry about that and say I'm making a threat when I'm clearly not. So let me know who we should talk about first. I actually scheduled this live stream for, a hot minute before I actually started so people could know about it. I think the thumbnail was pretty good. Dumbwaiter first. All right. 2-0. It looks like we're talking about Chris Ryder first. So, Chris Ryder. Where to start? So, he went into I guess it's kind of George Metz related. I guess we're going to have to talk about George Metz first. If you guys watched my video from noon, George Metz made a post. In that post, I'm not going to go over that too much because we'll talk about George next. Chris Ryder made a post basically lying about my entire existence on YouTube. So I had to make a giant community post correcting him. And then he went to GE Swag's. If you guys don't know GE Swag, go over there and subscribe to him. He covers Chris exclusively. But GE Swag made a post because we're currently being threatened. Me, him, and a few others. Lives being threatened, our kids' lives being threatened, our significant other lives being threatened. And GE Swag made a post and said, oh, you know what, I think it might actually be Chris's sock account because when we get too close to Chris or start covering Chris again, this account reactivates after weeks or months of inactivity to make threats to us. So that is pretty hilarious, but Chris came on there and he told GE Swag, oh, I didn't do that, blah, 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 and then basically left him a bullshit cease and desist. So, being me, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be the next person that Chris is going to try to shut up or shut down, even though I've made not a single threat. I've blocked him on Facebook, so he can no longer message me threats, message my kids threats, whatever. I feel like I'm going to be the next target, so I basically parroted everything Chris said and sent Chris a cease and desist on YouTube, screenshotted it so that he couldn't delete it, or so he could delete it and I would still have who I sent it to, so that should be fun. I'm not trying to stir the pot, I just think it's a bit weird that the guy who's been actively making threats for years is still making threats with no consequences. I might have to contact the county where he lives and let them know about this. Maybe we can get an EPO against Chris. Get Tiffany and his guns taken away. That could be hilarious. But anywho, that's Chris Ryder. We're gonna move on to George Metz. That's basically the video that I put out at noon. George called me out, tagged me, because nobody was covering his random case from South Carolina that apparently is still ongoing. How to explain this? Apparently he got some ordinance changed in some small South Carolina town and wants us all to just make videos on it all day. And he dared us and said, oh, you won't cover it. So, being me, I covered it for 3 seconds and then turned the light on his friend, J-Town Press, who took a plea deal yesterday. George has yet to make a video on it. He wanted to keep saying that we don't make videos when they win, which is very few and far between. But I had to point out that he doesn't ever cover anything that happens in his own community. When people are found guilty of frauding offenses, when people beat their significant other, when people that he's friendly with or in his community diddle kids, when they're selling drugs, he doesn't care. Doesn't make any videos, and I doubt he will. I challenged him and Georgia Transparency, who's good friends with J-Town Press. I don't know if they're, friends in the biblical sense, but I wouldn't put that past Russell. But yeah, I've never seen any of these people make any sort of video covering the wrongdoing of people in their community. Why? Because that would ruin the grift. And in their community, you can't keep a good grifter down, which brings us to Jeremiah Payne. So Jeremiah Payne had his shit. I think it might be scheduled for today. Yeah, it's scheduled for today. He got into how to explain this? He was riding the bus because he doesn't have a car, because he doesn't have a job. Yada, yada. Not shaming that, but at this point, it's just a grift for him. He is on the bus, and he decided to stand up, and when the bus stopped at a red light, it seems as if he fell down. Yeah, Direct D, that's apparently what I'm hearing. These people just do not like you for whatever reason, all because you turned the light on Chris, which is such a weird attempt at changing the subject for them. But yeah, Jeremiah Payne allegedly fell down, literally like scraped his knee, like he fell off a bike, which he took off the front of the bus when he was told he could no longer be on the bus. Anywho, he basically stated he needs $2,500 so that he can get an attorney for his CPS case, for his, I guess he's trying to sue Clarksville police because they kicked him out of a Walmart area, and to sue the bus driver or bus company, whatever. And he scheduled a live stream for 1 p.m., or his community post said 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. yesterday. And I waited patiently like a little kid on Christmas. Just got hit by a sprinkler. That was terrific. I waited like a little kid on Christmas. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. All the way till about, 8, 9, 10 o'clock this morning. Still did not go live on that live stream, which is so typical for Jeremiah Payne. The guy refuses. He'll always schedule a live stream and then never show up. So he canceled it, and then he made a community post shortly after canceling it, basically reiterating that he still needs money, $2,500, because I don't think anybody gave anything to him. And then, again, typical Jeremiah Payne stuff, he decided he was going to block all of the accounts that were in his chat that weren't trying to suck him off. And I saw some good creative names in there. But that guy needs to figure his life out. Every day he will put out, no, not every day. That might be a little harsh. Back in the day, he was streaming regularly. Yeah, if people are just handing out $2,500, sure, I would love put the $2,500 in the hand. But no, he would stream every day back in the day because he needed money to stay in the hotel. Yada yada. Ellie Mae Clampett. It's funny you say that because someone actually brought that up in the chat, in my comment section, they're like, if his claim had any standing, ambulance chasers would be literally chasing him down, beating open his door to get that case, and they're just not. And it's just the most ridiculous thing. He wants to sue CPS because he's made his daughter homeless multiple times. Doesn't send her to school because he's homeschooling her. But him and Sam Squatch have the combined IQ of a peanut, so I don't know which one of them are actually teaching her anything. Making her stand at a red light, begging for money as a prop, because in my opinion, that's all his daughter is for him, is a prop. Hey, you guys need to give us money. Think about my child. Or Jeremiah, you think about your child. Go get a job at McDonald's and put the fucking fries in the bag, my guy. It just kills me how Jeremiah Payne refuses to do anything. But yeah, he tried to compare his daughter being trapped at a 4-way intersection in 100-degree weather, helping them beg for money. He tried to compare that to, oh, well, you might want to go tell all the parents at the playground that they can't be outside. And it's like, Jeremiah, kids playing at a playground for, an hour and then going home isn't exactly the same as you trapping your daughter at an intersection for 12 hours so you can beg for money. Eagle Nick audits. Yeah, good times. I haven't even checked in on that guy. I'm assuming that's Ellie Mae Clampett because I can't really read it because of the sun. But yeah, that's how I feel about the subject. People like Jeremiah and Sam Squatch have no business homeschooling anyone. And then I love it. He tried to use like a Chat GPT type thing to make a thumbnail for him for his live stream. And the guy that they put on the front looked nothing like Jeremiah Payne. Because if you look at some of his more recent, Some of his more recent, went too far. Some of his more recent shorts, the dude is not doing well. In most of his shorts, instead of looking like old, drugged up Jeremiah Payne, now he just looks like a shriveled nutsack, which I find comical, but yeah, he's always making those shorts with music in the background, trying to act like a tough guy, and it's like, Jeremiah, you're 5'2". You're 5'2", admittedly super crippled, and you look like a shriveled nutsack. Like, come on. Eagle Nick might be a cool guy, but he sure hates my guts. All because I made a video of him hanging out with random homeless people under their bridge. Like, he hates my guts. Yo. South Jersey. God. I'm over here struggling currently because it's like 81 degrees after being 60 degrees the last 2 weeks. I done buttoned up my AC for the season. And then it's like, yeah, it's going to be mid-80s all week. Oh, we are doing, because, what did Chili say? Can't stop, won't stop. I've got a video coming out at 5:36, I think, one of those times. And then we have Booze and Body Cam, thank God, on at 8. Yeah, John, he's that small, super disabled, what's the word I'm looking for, has said that he has muscle death in his arms, so he can't move his arms. But to be fair, you're also not making shorts every day about how you're going to fight people or shoot them or beat them up. Let's see here. Yeah, we're almost to the point of me turning this off. But yeah, come hang out at Booze and Body Cam. I have that video on Jeremiah Payne. high knee pressure. That was chilly, wasn't it? When he tried to fight a cop and a cop finally said, okay, cool, you just have to pass a physical, and then he couldn't pass a physical. Good times. But yeah, a video on Jeremiah Payne out at some point tonight. I have the video that came out at noon. Go watch that. That one's fun. And then Booze and Body Cam at 8. So I will see you guys later. Boo Body Cam, how you doing, sir? I'm about to be done. There are 75 people here. Oh, crap. That's way more than I was expecting. But yeah, see you guys later.